Well, I'm delighted to be joined today by David Dunbar, who's head of sponsorship here at London Scottish. And David, first thing, thank you very much for inviting me into your office. It's really, I didn't realise this is, well, the portakabin's like the TARDIS, really.
Well, this is the best kept secret at London Scottish. Nobody actually knows that I have my own private office up here at Canner's gym.
Well, that's, and clearly you don't use the rest of the gym. Just looking at you as head of sponsorship, it's an extraordinary job that you do here because, you know, this league, you have to have a lot of money to survive in this league and to play in this league. And we've attracted some great names, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, what's really impressive about our sponsorship portfolio, I guess, is exactly as you've alluded to, the brands that we've got involved.
Yeah.
And that ranges from our main sponsor, who, Deutsche Bank, have just been incredible supporters of the club over the past couple of seasons, and we're going to look forward, hopefully, to a very long relationship with them. But from Deutsche Bank down, you have other brands like Watches of Switzerland, who sponsor.
They sponsor another sort of small team as well.
Yeah, a little one up north, slightly, the Leicester Tigers, but we don't really talk about that. And then we've got First Cape Wines as our club sponsor.
But they only sponsor a team who plays every 4 years.
Exactly.
The British Lions.
Yeah. The lesser known British Lions, as we like to refer to them. And really what it's meant for us is that it gives us great potential to be able to do what we want to do commercially, because we've got this support of a great team of sponsors behind us.
Why would someone want to sponsor London Scottish? What is it about the place?
Well, I think the easiest way to sum it up is to say that money can't buy you heritage, and in terms of heritage, what we have as a club is heritage really in an abundance. And by that I mean, we've got somewhere that the club has produced somewhere in the region of 220 Scottish international players, which is more than any other club. We've produced 4 British and Irish Lions captains, which is only rivaled by the Leicester Tigers. So in terms of that heritage and pedigree, that obviously rubs off on a brand in terms of getting involved in a rugby sponsorship. We've got bags of it, and I think that's what the sponsors appreciate when they get involved with London Scottish.
And of course, I mean, we have to be doing it on the pitch too, because success attracts success, and the boys have done immensely well this season. Yeah,
incredibly well. I mean, you don't need to go too far. You can speak to most people around the club and in the office and certainly in the management team, who feel that we've just not had our rub of the green. We've been fairly unlucky. The losing bonus points we're picking up demonstrate that. But I think the most important thing to come out of this season, because it's always been about consolidation for us and actually becoming a sort of a permanent fixture in the Championship, and the most important thing that's come out so far is that we don't look out of place. We look like we deserve to be here, and the fact that we keep picking up these losing bonus points really just highlights that.
Well, and if you look last weekend, London Welsh, last kick of the game, they managed to turn it around to a 2-point win from a 1-point defeat, and that speaks volumes about the way we're playing and how the mental resolve as well, as apart from anything else.
Absolutely. I mean, as I said, that in any sport there's a lot of luck involved, and the one thing I heard somebody say very interesting recently, and never a truer word spoken, is you can't really complain that as a club we're just not having much luck, because all you need to do is look at the 82nd minute from Barking, and God is Scottish, I believe. And so anybody who says, well, we're not getting luck, we've had our fair share of luck, and luck is, as well as obviously a lot of hard work, it has got us where we are. But I think the general feeling is it will come good. We're on the verge of that 2-point deficit becoming 2 points in our favour, and I think that's when the season will really start to pick up some momentum.
And I guess the other thing is, people like Freddie and Gus coming in, speaks volumes about the club as well, and about what they feel about London Scottish too.
Absolutely. I mean, look, these guys have literally come straight off the plane from Auckland, and I think that's incredible. It does. It speaks volumes for the setup that Simon and the rest of the coaches have created here. That you get world-class players saying, as a destination, London Scottish is right for me.
Now look, we've got maybe a minute left. Just in that time, tell us a bit about your own playing heritage as well, because for people who don't know who you are, tell us a bit about David Dunbar.
Well, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Sorry. Can we just start that bit again?
So, David, turning to your own playing career, you're a London Scottish player through and through yourself. I mean, it's in your blood, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I'm a London Scottish player and a London Scottish fan over and above anything else. And obviously the fact that I work for the club is sort of just another element of it. In terms of playing, you know, it's tougher with the sort of the new sponsorship role in terms of squeezing games in.
I thought you meant because the sponsors don't want their name on your shirt when you're playing. Is that?
Well, actually, I was quite keen to attract some extra sponsorship for myself. No, I mean it's mainly the fact that time-wise, you can imagine I'm getting a lot of stick from my teammates who keep asking me when I'm going to get measured up for my blazer, and have suggested that I'm eating far too many corporate lunches now. But I think I'm doing fairly well. In fact, just the other week, to give you an idea of how I'm still managing to shoehorn my rugby playing career into sponsorship at London Scottish, we sat some guests down for lunch. I think you were there. There was maybe about 130 guests before the Bedford game.
Yeah.
The minute I was sure that all the sponsors were sort of happy, sat down about to tuck into their starter, I ran to the changing rooms, put my kit on, ran out onto... Run is a strong...
Well, I was going to say, pull you up on that.
I jogged,
yes.
I sauntered.
But it looked like a sprint for you.
I sauntered out onto pitch number 7. By that time, I think my team were about 20 minutes before the end of the game. Ran on, scored a blistering try, ran off, changed, and managed to get back to the members' bar.
For dessert?
For dessert, absolutely.
I do remember that moment because I remember seeing this... Well, I thought it was an eclipse at first, but seeing this person running past the windows, and I thought, well, that's pretty impressive, actually. And then you followed behind them. But look, on a serious note, look, you know, you do a great job for the club, and I'm sure you're not told that enough, and it is great, and I know that all the supporters appreciate that, and certainly the squad do. If anybody wanted to come in and do a sponsorship of any sort, they just get in touch with you?
Absolutely. You know, and the best thing from a sponsor or potential sponsor's point of view, and I'm sure if you spoke to a lot of our existing sponsors, they would verify this, is that we don't use a sort of a prescribed method of sponsorship in terms of, we don't try and pigeonhole sponsors, and we understand that everybody's different. So we try and tailor something to their needs. But what I think they really appreciate is that as a club, we're quite entrepreneurial in terms of, it's not just about putting your logo on the shirt or having some hoardings around the perimeter. It's actually about, you know, we're constantly creating new events, new platforms that we can allow our sponsors access to. Things like, you only need to look, a couple of days' time we'll be hosting the Scottish varsity game here.
Absolutely.
And again, just a great platform for our existing London Scottish sponsors to get involved in.
And I know you're a hands-on man as well. You're even inflating the spider tents at weekends and all sorts of things. It's great to see. And the other thing, of course, is that it's not just the major sponsors. If you want to get involved with sponsoring players or the balls for a game or whatever, there's all sorts of opportunities.
No, look, you know, sponsorship ranges from absolutely, you know, we've got our main club sponsor right down to people who are sponsoring individual games, balls, you know, player sponsorship. There's all sorts of opportunities. The main thing is that it doesn't really matter what level you get involved with.
There's something there for everyone.
Yeah, there's something for everyone, but also you're part of that wider network. We don't sort of treat people differently. Everybody's part of that network.
All right, well, look, we'll wrap up there. David, thank you so much. For the guys you play with, David's now off for his blazer fitting, thought I'd throw that in. But David, thank you very much indeed.
It was a pleasure, David.